Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kortewada. In this video, we will learn about HTTP services and how to inject a HTTP service which is given by Angular and how to get the data from the network. So before going this, let me give you a brief about HTTP calls. So HTTP calls are something like asynchronous calls which will hit any of the network call and it will get the data from the server or from the databases. So that is how the HTTP services will work. And to learn this HTTP service, behind the scenes, there is something called as HTTP request, which is given by JavaScript. So this HTTP services will internally use XHR requests. So all the XHR requests will be handled by our HTTP services, which are provided by Angular. Now, how to use this HTTP service? So let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. And here we can use this HTTP services to get the data, post the data, patch the data or delete the data or update the data, anything whatever you want to do over the database we'll be using by using this HTTP services. These are simple like XHR calls. So to use these XHR calls, actually what we can do in our components. Here you can use in number of ways. For example, if you are using a component, first thing you have to do is you have to register that HTTP client module in a particular module wherever you want. In this case, I have only app module. Let me go into app module and here I can just import a module called as HTTP client module. If you are not able to see that IntelliSense, just go up and import it manually from @angular/common/HTTP, and this will have a module called as HTTP module, that is nothing but client module, and save this. Once you import this client module, we have accessibility to use our HTTP services. So how to use them? So let me go here and create a constructor, and inside this constructor let me go here and create a private variable that is nothing but HTTP service variable. This is called as injecting a service into your component. That is how we will use this private. Already I have explained about the dependency injection in my previous videos. Please watch that for better understanding. Now I'll use HTTP client and this is my service which is provided by Angular. Now on the load of this HTTP call, I want to get the data from our get URL. For example, in this case, it is the get URL whatever we have. Whenever I hit this, you need to get all this data in your network call. That we will try to do in this HTTP get call. So now what I'll do is I'll just go here, HTTP service dot, it will have a get, a post, a delete, put, patch, all the options whatever you have for a XHR call that can be accessed by using HTTP service. Now I want to get the data, so I am using a get method, and this get method will give you the data and it requires one particular value to pass. That value is nothing but the URL. So in this case my URL is to-do's URL. Let me copy this and put it over here, and to make you understand in a clear fashion, this HTTP services, that may be a get, that may be post, delete, patch, whatever the method you are using, they are internally observables which are created by Angular. So internally each and every method of HTTP is an observable. So to get the data you have to use something called as subscribe. Already we have discussed about observables. If you have an observable, you have to subscribe, otherwise you will not get the data. So in this case I'll be getting a result, but that result can be captured in a variable, and this is a callback function, so I can capture here, and let me consider any for this result. So let me use a console.log of result and save this. Now you will be getting a result, but this result may take some time. What happens when it is going in the background? That means all these HTTP calls are asynchronous data, and now we are handling this asynchronous data by using observable. As I said, this is an observable. We are handling all the asynchronous data by using its observable pattern. Let me go here and go to the Angular tutorial and let me clean this off. Let me reload. Now what happened? It called the network call and it got the data from the network. Let me go into the network. Let me clear this off. And if you see here, we have something called as fetch XHR. Let me click this and just reload so that you will see only the network calls which are happening here. So let me go here, and the network call is pointing to HTTPS, and this is the URL we have used, and we have used a method called as get, and we got a status called as 200. That means it is success. So let me go into a preview, and if you see here, we got 200 records, 0 to 199, that is 200 records, and that 200 records is what you are seeing over here. So you are getting the data from our network call. Let me go here into the network and see that why it is an asynchronous data. So let me reload this. Now you got the data, but if you see here, it took some milliseconds to get whole data. So now what I'll show you is how it is an asynchronous and how the data is coming back to our HTTP call. For example, and just write console.log before HTTP, and let me copy this console, put it over here, and let me use after HTTP. Save this. So now what will happen is, as this is an asynchronous data, first it will show you before HTTP, and this call will be triggered to the network. As you didn't get the response, it will not wait until the response is received. Instead, whatever the data you have in the next lines, it will try to execute for performance things. Let me go here and clear this off. Let me reload. So now what will happen? Just remove this network so that it will be bit speed. So let me clear this, reload. Now you can see it went to before HTTP, and then it went to after HTTP, then it is getting the data. That means after this HTTP command, immediately it went into after HTTP. That means it is not waiting for the network call to receive the data. If all the logics, whatever dependent on that response data from that network call, that logic should be written inside this callback function. And now if you want to use this callback function, you can use in the HTML directly. So I'll show you how to use this data or the response, whatever you got, how to show them in the UI. Let's talk in the upcoming video. For now, this is how you can do HTTP call. And not only get, you can use delete, put, post as well. For now, I'm using only get call. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.